Hi, my name is George Stagnino. I'm the editor of the Peter Dack Portfolio. People are looking for recessions next month, the next few months. Some say we are already in a recession. I've been following this issue for in my previous videos and in my publication. So what I would like to review in this podcast is the main indicators, see what the framework is, and then decide are we in a recession or not? Are we heading into a recession? And if not, or if yes, what are we going to do with our money? So let's see what happens. This is my basic framework of the Peter Dagg's Business Cycle Academy. Phase one of the business cycle is the economy is expanding. Phase two of the business cycle, the economy is expanding, but now you're beginning to see interest rates and inflation rising. Phase three, in when there is a slowdown because purchasing power now is being hit by rising inflation and interest rates. Phase four is when there is a major slowdown where all the problems created in phase two and phase one are being corrected. Mainly, credit conditions are easing, interest rates decline, commodities decline, inflation declines, the stock market declines. So everything is being brought under control. That's the important thing. So let's see what are the indicators now that define the economy in phase four. Well, there are four basic indicators. This, by the way, has been suggested by the National Bureau of Economic Research. One is income. The second one is spending. The third one is employment. And the fourth one is production. The economy is strong or expanding when all four are rising. The economy is weak and getting into a recession when they are declining. It's as simple as that. Make it more complicated, it becomes confusing for investors. As simple as that. So let me review the data for you. Okay, let's look now at income and spending. And as you can see, they're growing nicely. Year over year is after inflation, by the way. So they're going 3%, 2.5%. This is steady growth since 2023. So for the last 2 years, we had steady growth in income and spending. You can say all the excuses that they want. This might not be, might not happen because this, because of that. But the fact is, income and spending have been rising on a year-over-year basis for 2 years. Not only that, but as you can see, they sort of are strengthening. So this is good news. These two data say there is no recession or slowdown in the cards. This graph shows the growth in industrial production and retail sales after inflation. Industrial production is red and retail sales after inflation is blue. As you can see, industrial production and retail sales have been rising faster, not slower. So two more data, industrial production is growing at around 1.5%, maybe 2%, and real retail sales is growing at 2.5% after inflation. So this is two more data. If anything, you see they're going up. Here you could have talked about recession during this period from 2023 to 2024, but things now are actually improving. And what is funny that now that things are improving, things are even getting even worse. Than people think that things will get even worse. It's actually exactly the opposite. I mean, I'm not lying to you. This is the data. Okay, let's see what else is happening. The latest data on employment showing they increased by 177,000. So it's pretty good growth last month. But I look at it's important to look under the hood. And there are this data here. One is employment in construction, okay, is the blue line. The employment in residential construction is the red line, and the green line is truck and transportation. Now, what is important about this data on employment? That while their overall data on employment are coincident, in other words, they rise and decline depending if the economy is expanding or contracting. This data on, let's say, employment in construction, the blue line, declines ahead of a recession, which is the gray line perpendicular. So the point is, this construction employment is still rising. Okay. The other thing is the residential building construction is still expanding. The only weakness we have in employment in the transportation, truck transportation, because the trucking business is weak, and in fact that's why the transportation average is weak. That sector of the economy is weak. But employment, these numbers are saying is okay, is expanding. You have to start worrying when employment in construction start declining, like in 2000 or in 2006, 2007. And even here. So far, employment numbers, the overall numbers are expanding, and the under the hood numbers are still growing. So far, everything is okay. Okay, so what I've been saying is income after inflation is expanding at a nice clip. Spending and retail sales are doing okay. So this is also good. Industrial production is also expanding now after many years, a couple of years of contraction. And now even employment is doing okay, is expanding. So the four important indicators are growing. Now, what this chart is showing is the model of the New York Fed. And is what it's saying is so far, the growth of the economy is around 2.5%, which is about average to slightly above average. Let's say this number is wrong, is too hot, say 1%, but there is no recession in the cards according to this data. Let's see if we can get some more information from some other data. One of the good things about declining inflation that is increasing the purchasing power of consumers, which is probably why you see spending is improving. And what this graph is showing is that inflation, home prices are slowing down and they are leading inflation. If you look, the producer prices are slowing down quite sharply, and the price index of consumer spending, the red line, is also slowing down to 2.3, 2.4. So what you see now is that inflation is declining, and what this does is that it improves the purchasing power of the consumer. So the next question that you have, yeah, but inflation might be going up, and then it's going to mess things up. But let's see if inflation, though, is going to go up or down. People are concerned that the tariffs that the administration is imposing are going to be inflationary. No one knows the answer to that. And what I would like to remind you that inflation, and someone like Milton Friedman took a Nobel Prize for his work, is say inflation is strictly a monetary phenomenon. If you print too much money, there is inflation because there is too much money chasing fewer goods. But if money is not growing rapidly, then inflation cannot go up. Historically, when the money supply is growing between 5 and 6%, 4 and 6%, the economy is going at the long-term pace with little or no inflation. Inflation, you have it when the money supply starts growing faster than 6%. Now, this is the growth of M2, the blue line. And the reason I show the red line is deposits. And really, deposit is the source of the money supply. What the banks do, take the deposit and they lend it over and over again, and this becomes money supply in circulation. But as you can see, the blue line is it's growing at less than 4%, 3.8, 3.7%. So the growth of the money supply, as you can see, has been improving, going up, which means there is more liquidity into the economy. But it's not growing fast enough to create inflation. In fact, if anything, the growth of the money supply is slow enough to take inflation down. So this data, see, inflation came here in the in early 2020 because money was growing at 25%, but now it's only growing at less than 4%. So if anything, inflation is coming down because there is less money in slower growth in circulation, and that's why inflation is coming down and will continue to come down. I know that what I've been telling you is exactly the opposite of what you hear on all the channels, podcasts, TV podcasts, and everybody is looking at the economy collapsing, inflation going up because of the tariffs, and there is a big mess. All those podcasts are made out of to scare you so that you get glued to the TV set. But the data are not that dramatic. I mean, these are the data. We have an expanding money supply, non-inflationary. You have inflation coming down, which is good. It's going to take down interest rates in commodities as well. You have income, spending, production, and employment growing, at least not growing at a nice pace, not hot, not cold, somewhere in between. So everything seems to be doing right, and this is why probably the stock market is going up. Now, what is this matrix? Well, okay, let's assume you don't believe me, but you have your own beliefs, and this tells you what the business cycle and your investment strategy should be. If you, let's say, as I do, that we have growth, we are somewhere between here, between phase 2 and phase 3. That is, growth is just about right, with inflation steady and growth steady. So we are somewhere in 2 and 3. So between a defensive and cyclical strategy would be appropriate. If you believe that instead growth is going up and inflation is going up, you want to be in cyclical. If you instead you want to be growth is there is a recession with inflation going up, then you want to be defensive. Then you have to be very defensive if you believe inflation is coming down and growth is coming down, because means that we are in the middle of a recession. This is the recession strategy. This is the phase 3 strategy. This is the phase 2 and the phase 1 strategies. So if you believe that we have a recession, you have to be here. If you believe that we are somewhere between growth, steady growth, right growth with inflation declining, you should be somewhere in 2 and 3 over a long-term portfolio. Then if you see those 4 indicators declining with inflation declining, then you should go from phase 3 to phase 4 very defensive. So this is choose which square you belong to. As you know, I've been teaching macroeconomics for management, that is the use of business cycle data for management decision making and investment decision making. And I wrote this book that was commissioned by McGraw-Hill, and this is one of the reviews that I had, and I was really impressed. So, but anyway, my work is based on the information in this book. At the Peter Dax Business Cycle Academy, we have 4 membership. Membership 1 is videos only. Membership 2, number 2 is videos and economic and financial updates. Membership number 3 is the Peter Dax Portfolio, which is about 22 pages, and videos, model portfolios with emails on about as soon as we make our transactions, and the market updates. Thank you very much for following these videos. I hope you found it important for your investment strategy and investment planning. And again, if you want to know more details about my work and what our members have access to, please do go to www.patreon.com/Peter Dax. Again, thank you very much. I hope to see you really, really soon. So long.